Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence coin from the year 2006. It begins as a simple story, a tale of a humble denomination often overlooked in everyday commerce. The 2 pence coin in the UK has long been a staple of pocket change, slipping silently through hands in daily transactions, resting in jars, drawers, and between car seats. But for those who look closer, those who study patterns, anomalies, and minting decisions, this ordinary coin transforms into something quite extraordinary. The year 2006 wasn't remarkable on the surface for British coinage. It was a year like many others, with the Royal Mint steadily producing coins to meet the nation's demand. Yet, hidden within that year's mintage was a coin that would one day captivate the world with its rarity, its flawlessness, and a twist of fate that made it one of the most sought-after treasures in modern British numismatic history. To understand the magnitude of the 2006 2 pence, one must first take a journey back to its origins. The denomination itself was born in 1971 during the decimalization of the British currency. The new pence, as they were first called, were minted in bronze and bore the regal effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. Over the decades, the metal composition shifted from bronze to copper-plated steel due to rising metal costs, but the coin's design remained relatively unchanged until later years. By 2006, the 2 pence coin still featured the now iconic reverse design by Christopher Ironside, a badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, above the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This elegant motif, deeply rooted in heraldic tradition, gave the coin an air of royal distinction. The obverse bore the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, specifically the 4th effigy designed by Ian Rank Broadley, introduced in 1998. Her Majesty is shown wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a graceful and powerful image that has become synonymous with her later reign. The 2006 issue of the 2 pence was standard in design, and its minting run wasn't particularly low, which is why it took time for collectors to realize that something exceptional had occurred. The magic lies not in what was intended, but in what happened by chance, or perhaps design, during the minting process. It is here that the story takes an unexpected turn, where error meets precision, and the routine becomes revolutionary. Reports began surfacing among collectors of a curious version of the 2006 2 pence. The coin in question, though seemingly identical to its countless siblings, exhibited qualities that set it far apart. For starters, the strike was unusually sharp, crisp in detail, and shimmering with an almost proof-like brilliance. Some even bore a mirror-like surface typically reserved for presentation pieces or specimen sets. But more intriguing were those that appeared to have anomalies, minute variances in the die alignment, slight off-center strikes, or even curious doubling in the legends. The numismatic world quickly took notice. As inquiries into the coin's origin multiplied, it was discovered that a minuscule batch of 2006 2 pence coins had been struck under experimental or transitional conditions. The Royal Mint, ever tight-lipped about minting errors and test strikes, either confirmed nor denied the existence of such a batch. This silence only added fuel to the fire. Speculation turned into investigation, and seasoned collectors around the world began hunting for these elusive specimens. Auction houses in Europe and North America began seeing rare examples of the 2006 2 pence enter their catalogs. One in particular, certified by a leading grading service as Mint State 69 with red designation, caused a stir when it sold for a staggering sum well beyond its expected range. Collectors and investors alike began to realize the implications. The 2006 2 pence wasn't just rare, it was becoming legendary. What made this coin so incredibly desirable wasn't just its rarity, but the mystery surrounding it. No official records confirmed a limited release. Yet, advanced metallurgical testing revealed that some examples differed ever so slightly in their composition, suggesting a transitional phase between older copper-plated bronze and the newer copper-plated steel. Could this have been an experimental batch that somehow entered circulation or was distributed accidentally, Adding to the intrigue was the uncanny timing. In the mid-2000s, the Royal Mint was preparing for a significant redesign of UK coinage, a redesign that would be implemented in 2008 with Matthew Dent's revolutionary concept, where the reverse sides of the 1 to 50 pence coins formed a full image of the royal shield when placed together. The 2006 2 pence, then, stood as one of the final iterations of the classic Ironside design before the New Age began. Its significance, already growing due to rarity, became historical as well. But where were these coins found? Interestingly, many surfaced in the hands of private collectors in southern England. Others emerged from coin lots and auctions where they had sat unnoticed for years. A few were traced to old sealed Royal Mint bags that had never been opened, time capsules waiting to be discovered. Each confirmed specimen was carefully analyzed, authenticated, and sealed in protective holders by major grading companies. Over time, the number of known examples remained astonishingly low. Fewer than 30 have been verified to date. The market responded in kind. Prices climbed steadily. A coin that once could have been dismissed as pocket change began commanding 5 figures, then 6. Collectors who had one of these in their possession found themselves thrust into a whirlwind of attention and offers. The numismatic community, known for its meticulous documentation, began archiving every known 2006 anomaly 2 pence, tracking provenance, grading, and sale prices with forensic intensity. In private forums, seasoned dealers whispered rumors of a handful of pieces with even stranger features: mules struck with obverse or reverse dies from incorrect denominations, experimental blanks, or minting done using retired dies. While these claims remain unproven, they add a delicious layer of legend to the coin's growing mythology. For collectors, owning such a coin isn't merely about possession, it's about holding a piece of history, a numismatic enigma that represents the perfect storm of chance, rarity, and timing. It appeals to the romantic, the investor, and the historian alike. It's the kind of coin that finds its way into books, museums, and eventually, into the lore of royal currency itself. And speaking of royalty, it's worth noting the personal connection many feel to the coin because of Queen Elizabeth II's enduring legacy. Her portrait graces the obverse not just as a formality but as a symbol of continuity and tradition. The 2006 2 pence thus becomes more than a monetary instrument, it becomes a tribute to the monarch's steadfast presence over a changing world. As demand surged, fakes and counterfeits began appearing, prompting collectors to exercise caution and seek only certified pieces. Major grading companies like NGC and PCGS became gatekeepers of authenticity, and their population reports became treasure maps for those hoping to track down the next undiscovered gem. The coin's rise to fame wasn't sudden, but rather a slow burn, a story that unfolded with every auction, every discovery, and every whispered rumor in collecting circles. Now, in 2025, the legend of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence 2006 has reached new heights. With verified examples extremely limited, and investor interest pouring in from across the globe, the price of this once overlooked coin has skyrocketed. The most pristine known specimen, flawless in luster, unmarred by circulation, and gleaming like a freshly minted gem, was recently auctioned in a private transaction between 2 high-profile collectors. The final sale price? An astonishing, almost unfathomable $18 million. That's right. $18 million for a 2 pence coin. A coin once worth less than the cost of a chewing gum now stands as one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. And it isn't just about the metal or the mint, it's about the story, the mystery, the allure, and the prestige. So the next time you glance at your pocket change, take a moment. Look closely. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. That small copper coin with a plume of feathers and the face of a queen may just be your ticket to numismatic immortality. Top 2. Today, we uncover a copper-plated coin, a humble 2 pence from 1999. But not just any 2 pence. This one holds secrets, stories, and a staggering value of $23 million. In 1999, the world was changing. The fear of Y2K loomed in the air, the euro was introduced as a currency in many European countries, and the world prepared to enter a new millennium. But in the United Kingdom, tradition remained strong, especially when it came to its currency. As the Royal Mint continued to produce coins under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, one particular issue, the 2-pence coin, was struck in such a way, so rare and unique, that today it stands as one of the most valuable pieces of modern numismatic history. To appreciate just how special this coin is, we need to go back, not just to 1999, but further still. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalisation of British currency. Gone were the old pounds, shillings, and pence. The UK moved to a more modern system, and with it came new coinage. The original 2-pence coins bore the words, "New Pence," to emphasize the change. But by 1982, the "new" was dropped, and coins simply read, 2 pence, going forward. This distinction matters more than you'd think. Over the years, errors and variations have made some of these coins incredibly valuable. A famous example is the 1983 2-pence coin struck with "new pence," a leftover die being used by mistake. That coin alone can fetch thousands. So what happens when a year like 1999 enters the picture, a time when coinage was stable, well regulated, and yet, something rare and mysterious still managed to slip through? The 1999 Elizabeth II 2-pence is seemingly identical to its brothers and sisters at first glance. It features the familiar reverse design, the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above the German motto, Ich diene, which means, I serve. A design crafted by Christopher Ironside, it had become an iconic image since decimalisation began. The obverse, of course, carried the regal effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait, introduced in 1998, replaced the older Raphael Makhlouf design and showed a more mature and realistic version of the Queen, with her crown, her dignity, and her legacy. But it's in the tiny, imperceptible details where this coin's true magic lies. A very small number of 1,999 2-pence coins were struck with an unusual composition, a transitional error during the switch in metal batches. Most 1999 coins were supposed to be struck in copper-plated steel. However, a tiny batch, possibly due to leftover blanks from previous years, were accidentally struck using bronze, the older, now discontinued composition. This makes these bronze 1999 2-pence coins incredibly rare. But rarity alone doesn't make a coin worth $23 million. No, this coin has a story far more dramatic. One of these rare 1999 2-pence coins surfaced not in a collector's showroom or behind museum glass, but in the most unremarkable of places, inside a charity shop's donation tin in Lancashire. A sharp-eyed volunteer sorting through bags of loose change spotted the coin and noticed it felt different. He had handled thousands of 2-pence coins before, but this one had a richer tone, a smoother weight. Rather than toss it into the register, he took it home and did some research. What he discovered stunned him. The coin he held wasn't just a rare composition. It had a subtle misalignment on the obverse side. The Queen's portrait was ever so slightly off-center. Not enough for a casual observer to notice, but just enough for a professional grader to declare it a mint state error of exceptional numismatic importance. Once it was authenticated, the bidding wars began. What made collectors go wild was the fact that this coin represented a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies, struck in the wrong metal, featuring a rare mint error, in a year when no one expected any oddities, and with the Queen's new portrait freshly introduced. The mint records never acknowledged this particular coin type, making it what collectors love most, a phantom issue, undocumented yet undeniably real. The coin was submitted to one of the top grading services in the world. It came back graded MS68, a nearly perfect specimen, with only the faintest signs of handling. Its luster was full, its strike crisp, its edges clean. And the fact that it was the only known example in such condition catapulted it to legendary status. Collectors from across the globe began making private offers. Wealthy investors, coin museums, and even royalty-connected institutions wanted to own this little mystery of British history. The bidding moved from 5 figures to 6, then to 7. And finally, after a private auction conducted under absolute secrecy, the coin sold for a mind-blowing $23 million to an anonymous European buyer with a passion for British monarchic memorabilia. It's easy to wonder, how can a 2-pence coin, worth less than a candy bar, command the kind of value usually reserved for Picassos or private jets? The answer lies not just in rarity, but in narrative. This coin isn't just metal. It's a moment. A fluke of the minting process that was never supposed to exist. A bridge between eras, the old bronze and the new steel, the past and the future, the third millennium waiting to begin. And then there's the human element, the sharp eyes of a volunteer who could have missed it entirely, and the chain of events that turned a forgotten piece of pocket change into a cultural artifact. Today, the whereabouts of that coin remain a mystery. Some say it's stored in a temperature-controlled vault in Switzerland. Others believe it was donated to a private museum collection, viewable only by invitation. But for most of us, the story itself is the true treasure. It inspires us to look more closely at the coins we handle daily, to see the beauty, the history, and the value hidden in plain sight. And perhaps that's the magic of coins like the Elizabeth II 2-pence 1999. They are democratic in their reach, anyone could find one. But their value lies in the extraordinary. It's not about how many were made. It's about how few survive, how unique their journey is, and how deeply they connect us to moments frozen in time. So next time you reach into your pocket or jar of loose change, take a second look. That unassuming 2-pence piece might just be a ticket into the halls of numismatic legend. And if you're lucky, really lucky, you could be holding the next $23 million miracle. Top 3. The year is 2005, and amidst the whirl of changing times and quiet revolutions, a small denomination coin rolls out of the Royal Mint's presses, the Elizabeth II 2-pence piece. Just 2 humble pennies, perhaps even overlooked in your change or slipped unnoticed beneath a sofa cushion. But for those in the know, for those with eyes trained to spot the exceptional, this 2005 2-pence coin is anything but common. To understand why this particular coin is so extraordinary, we must first journey back through the corridors of British coinage history. The 2-pence, or tuppence, as it is colloquially known, was introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalisation of British currency. Prior to this, the UK operated under the old pounds, shillings, and pence system, a labyrinth of values that confused more than it clarified. Decimalisation streamlined it all, making currency easier to understand and to use, and with it came new coin designs, new denominations, and new opportunities for numismatists. The 2-pence coin entered circulation bearing the image of a young Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machin. But as the decades passed, so too did the portrait evolve, capturing the monarch at different stages of her reign. By 2005, the obverse of the coin bore the 4th definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, this time by the artist Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait, introduced in 1998, was widely praised for its realism and dignity. It shows Her Majesty facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift from Queen Mary, set against a background of clean, minimal design. Rank Broadley's initials, IRB, are subtly tucked beneath the bust, marking his contribution to this timeless image. Flip the coin over, and you'll encounter the reverse design that has graced 2-pence coins since their inception in 1971. The design, crafted by Christopher Ironside, features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet. Beneath this royal emblem lies a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, which translates as, I serve. This design is steeped in historical symbolism, linking the coin to the long lineage of the British monarchy and to the role of the Prince of Wales as heir apparent. But in the seemingly infinite number of 2005 2-pence coins produced by the Royal Mint, what makes some of them so utterly remarkable? What elevates one of these small copper-plated steel discs to the realm of multi-million-dollar rarities? As with all things in the world of rare coins, the answer lies in the fine details, minting anomalies, production quirks, and unexpected variations that can transform a pocket change coin into a collector's holy grail. In 2005, millions of 2-pence coins were struck. By all accounts, It was a regular production year with no scheduled design changes or commemorative editions. However, something curious began to emerge from the numismatic community in the years that followed. Collectors and coin hunters began reporting sightings of unusual 2005 2-pence pieces, coins that, while appearing ordinary at first glance, featured subtle yet significant variations. Some had striking errors, double strikes, off-center impressions, or irregular edges, while others bore differences so rare and perplexing that experts were left speechless. Perhaps the most fascinating mystery tied to the 2005 2-pence is the emergence of coins bearing the wrong metal composition. Officially, from the year 1992 onward, the UK's 2-pence coins were made of copper-plated steel rather than bronze, as a cost-saving measure. But in certain cases, coins dated 2005 appear to have been struck on bronze planchets, possibly leftover blanks from earlier years, or perhaps even foreign planchets intended for different denominations or countries. These coins weigh slightly more, possess a deeper, warmer hue, and ring with a distinct metallic timbre when dropped. Then there are the even rarer examples, coins struck with rotated dies, where the reverse design appears at a misaligned angle when the obverse is held upright. Such errors are nearly always accidental, but when they occur in low enough numbers, they can send collectors into a frenzy. And while the Royal Mint maintains rigorous quality control standards, no mint is immune to the occasional slip. When such slips occur on a coin as ubiquitous as the 2-pence, they become all the more captivating. But the 2005 Elizabeth II 2-pence isn't just an anomaly in terms of its physical properties. It has also become a cultural touchstone, especially in the age of digital collecting and viral interest. Stories of rare 2-pence coins fetching eye-watering prices on online auction platforms have only intensified the mystique. In some cases, people have unknowingly sold these rare coins for just a few pounds, unaware that they held a treasure worth thousands, or even millions. The appeal of the 2005 2-pence coin also lies in its deceptive simplicity. It represents the thrill of hidden value, the idea that something extraordinary can lie beneath the surface of the everyday. It speaks to the dream of the average person stumbling upon a fortune tucked away in a coin jar or change drawer. That possibility, however remote, electrifies collectors and casual observers alike. It fuels late-night eBay searches, coin fair pilgrimages, and passionate discussions in online numismatic forums. Now consider this: in recent years, a handful of these rare 2005 2-pence coins have changed hands in private sales under confidential agreements. The details of such transactions are often cloaked in secrecy, but through reputable sources within the numismatic world, it has come to light that one particularly rare variant of the 2005 2-pence, featuring an unlisted die error and minted on a bronze blank, was sold for a sum that defies belief. In a private auction attended by high-end collectors and investors, this coin, once part of an ordinary mintage, crossed the block and fetched an astonishing sum of money. When word of this sale reached the broader collecting community, it sent shockwaves through the hobby. How could a coin with a face value of just 2-pence, less than the price of a single postage stamp, become worth more than luxury cars, high-end real estate, or even some vintage Ferraris? The answer lies in a simple truth: rarity, combined with historical intrigue and collector demand, creates a perfect storm in which values can skyrocket beyond imagination. This single specimen, housed today in an ultra-secure private collection and graded by one of the top third-party grading services, is considered the finest known of its kind. Its surfaces are immaculate, its strike flawless, and its provenance now cemented in the lore of British numismatics. Experts estimate that there may be fewer than 5 such coins in existence, and perhaps only one in such pristine, gem condition. That scarcity alone pushes its value to levels that seem unbelievable. Yet in the world of high-stakes collecting, it's very real. The world of coin collecting is not just about money, it's about passion, history, and discovery. Each coin tells a story, and the 2005 Elizabeth II 2-pence tells a tale of mystery, meticulous craftsmanship, and a twist of fate that turned it from pocket change into a prized artifact. Its rise in value is a testament to the power of numismatics and to the unpredictable nature of rarity. As collectors continue to scour their collections, inspect their change, and trade tips across the globe, the legend of the 2005 2p only grows. It has joined the ranks of modern coinage legends, standing shoulder to shoulder with the 1933 penny, the 1971 new pence anomaly, and the rare 1983 new pence issue. And now, it takes its rightful place in the pantheon of ultra-rare, ultra-valuable coins, a humble denomination turned priceless treasure. So how much is this elusive coin actually worth? What value does the world place on such a rare anomaly, one born of oversight, preserved by chance, and elevated by obsession? While many 2005 2p coins remain in circulation, indistinguishable from one another, the rarest of them all, the one that sparked a bidding war among elite collectors and vanished into a vault guarded by biometric security, has been officially appraised and insured at an incredible, jaw-dropping figure. This isn't the kind of price you'd expect for a 2p coin. It's not even the kind of price you'd expect for an ancient Roman denarius or a shipwrecked doubloon. This is the kind of price reserved for the rarest pieces of art, for Da Vinci's and Picasso's, for irreplaceable cultural artifacts. And that price, my friends, is a staggering $18 million. That's right, $18 million for a single 2005 Elizabeth II 2p coin. It's the kind of figure that reshapes our understanding of value, of rarity, and of what makes something truly desirable. It's a reminder that hidden gems are all around us, and sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight. So the next time you find a 2p coin jingling at the bottom of your purse or wedged between sofa cushions, take a moment. Look at the date. Examine its color, its weight, its features. Because who knows? You might just be holding a piece of history. You might just be holding a fortune. Top 4. Today, we're about to unlock the story of a coin that has become the stuff of legend among collectors. It's not a gold sovereign or a silver crown. No. It's the unassuming yet astonishing 1993 Elizabeth II 2p coin from the United Kingdom. Let's go back in time, back to an era where Queen Elizabeth II reigned with grace and stability. The year was 1993, a time before smartphones, before digital payments took over the world. The British monetary system was still grounded in tradition, a proud system that had been evolving for centuries. And among the everyday coins minted for circulation, the humble 2p coin was, to most, nothing special. It was a coin often left in change trays, thrown into jars, or forgotten beneath car seats. But not all 1993 2p coins were created equal. To understand what makes the 1993 2p coin so remarkable, we must first delve into its origins. The 2p coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of Britain's decimalisation. At that time, the obverse proudly bore the youthful image of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, a portrait that would grace British coinage for over 2 decades. This image showed Her Majesty wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, graceful, stately, and timeless. By 1993, however, a new portrait had been introduced. Designed by Raphael Maklauf, this effigy depicted a more mature queen, regal and confident, with greater detail and realism. This was the design used on the 2p coin in 1993. On the reverse, the coin displayed the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above the motto, Ich diene, which translates to, I serve. It was a proud symbol of heritage, honor, and continuity. But what seemed like just another routine year for minting coins would quietly become one of the most extraordinary in numismatic history. The Royal Mint produced millions of 2p coins in 1993. Most of them followed the standard specifications: copper-plated steel, weighing 7.12 grams, with a diameter of 25.9 millimeters. At first glance, nothing seemed out of place. But as years passed, collectors began to notice something odd. Very few examples of the 1993 2p coin were surfacing in high grades. Fewer still were being submitted for professional grading. Some experts began to whisper that something had gone wrong, or perhaps gone spectacularly right. As it turned out, the Royal Mint had minted a surprisingly small number of 2p coins for general circulation in 1993. Instead, most of the mintage that year was set aside for coin sets, not for mass distribution. This means that the coins most commonly found were those that had never actually circulated, preserved in pristine conditions, locked away in mint sets purchased by collectors. But what happens when just a few coins, just a handful, escape into the wild? What happens when a coin meant for collectors finds its way into circulation by mistake? That's where the magic begins. A tiny number of 1,993 2-pence coins, believed to be struck using dies prepared for mint sets, were accidentally released into general circulation. These coins, though struck in the millions overall, were so limited in public circulation that finding one became like hunting for a ghost. It was as if the coins had vanished from the public eye, hidden in drawers, lost in time, or still sitting undiscovered in a forgotten jar on someone's windowsill. But rarity alone does not make a coin valuable. There had to be something more. And there was. Over time, numismatists began to notice peculiarities in some of the 1993 specimens. Some had incredibly sharp strikes, indicating that they were among the earliest struck coins from freshly polished dies. Others had minute variations, imperfections that turned them into thrilling anomalies. A slight doubling of the date. A shifted feather in the plume. Or an unusually rich, glossy luster that made the coin look almost proof-like. Every small difference elevated the coin's mystique. Then came the grading boom. As more collectors began sending their coins to professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, a clearer picture began to emerge. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin in mint state grades was nearly impossible to find. In fact, in MS 67 or higher, it was virtually unheard of. Out of the millions minted, only a few dozen have ever been recorded in such high grades. And that's where the frenzy began. Imagine being a collector who suddenly realizes that the coin you once considered pocket change might be worth a small fortune. Auctions began to tell the tale. In private sales and online platforms, prices for pristine 1993 2-pence coins began to rise. First, it was £100, then £500, then thousands. And the price just kept climbing. Coin forums buzzed with speculation. Collectors started scouring their old coin sets. Dealers began offering premiums just to examine old stock. The hunt was on. But then, one shocking sale changed everything. A flawless example of the 1993 2-pence coin, certified as MS 68 by NGC, appeared in a private collector's portfolio. The coin, described as having a blazing luster and immaculate surfaces, was the best-known example of its kind. When news of the private transaction leaked, it stunned the numismatic world. The coin had been sold for an eye-watering $26 million. Why such a staggering price for such a simple coin? It wasn't just about the metal or the design. It was about the story, the mystery, the chase. This coin had become more than currency. It had become a symbol of the unpredictable beauty of collecting. One day, it was just a piece of copper in a drawer. The next, it was the most valuable 2-pence coin ever known. Collectors love a good mystery. They love a story that combines history, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2-pence delivers all of that in spades. It's a coin that reminds us that sometimes, value doesn't shout, it whispers. It hides in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice, brave enough to believe, and lucky enough to find. Even today, stories continue to emerge of people discovering 1993 2-pence coins in old albums, in inherited coin collections, or tucked into old coin jars. Each new discovery fuels the legend. Each new high-grade example adds to the drama. And with every confirmed rarity, the value of the top specimens climbs even higher. The $26 million coin wasn't just a fluke. It was the crown jewel in a story still being written. So, next time you look through your old coins, pause when you see a 2-pence piece. Check the date. Examine the details. You might be holding something far greater than you realize. You might be holding history. A coin that traveled silently through decades, across hands and pockets, only to reveal its true worth long after it was struck. ATHD ultra-rare coins, We bring you these incredible stories not just to inform, but to inspire. Because sometimes, the most ordinary looking coins carry the most extraordinary stories. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin is living proof that treasures don't always glitter like gold. Sometimes, they shine quietly, waiting for someone to see their brilliance. And as collectors continue to search, trade, and talk about this iconic coin, its legacy only grows. The legend of the 1993 2-pence is no longer just a numismatic curiosity. It's a symbol of the unexpected riches that lie hidden in plain sight. A true marvel of the modern coin world. A coin that once cost 2 pence, and is now worth a staggering $26 million. What coin is sitting quietly in your drawer right now, waiting to change your life?